So this summer, my girlfriend and I plan to be away a lot, living out the 80 series as we tour Australia. Now, when you are traveling, being able to stay out on the tracks for longer is better. And that's why I've got the fridge, the solar, plenty of storage, the tent, all these little modifications that have made this car into a more practical tourer. And now we are pretty self-sufficient on the road. We've pretty much got everything you need to tour around Australia. But the one thing that kept forcing us back to caravan parks was that of keeping clean and refreshed. On many of our longer trips, we would always budget for a night in a caravan park, just so we could use the showers and get us a little bit more refreshed for the next leg of our journey. And so it would be great to remove this reliance off caravan parks and be able to stay out in the bush for longer. And now, I actually used to have a solar hot water shower that I built for myself a while ago on the 80 series, and the main reason I built it was for my girlfriend because she really missed having a shower when we went camping, and it didn't really work too well in winter because it would never get hot enough, and it only held 15 litres of water. So when I got the whole rooftop tent set up, I took it off to reduce weight, and I haven't really had a solution to the problem since. And that's where this comes in. This is a portable hot water kit. For us, it's not only been a hot shower, but a dishwasher and a freshwater collector. This is the Jilka Hot Tap. Now, Jilka is the manufacturer. They're actually a local Melbourne business that have been developing these portable hot water units now for the past 10 years, and they've sent this out to us to take on a few trips. So we've been testing it out in our camping setup, and I have to say, having unlimited instant hot water is such a benefit in the bush. So let's get back to where this started, and I'll show you what exactly the hot tap is. And this is the kit. Now, the biggest thing when I ever get a new gadget is how am I going to fit it in the car? So luckily, this whole unit packs away into a pretty small package considering, and it's not too heavy either. This main unit here is only 4 kilos, so it's actually all pretty lightweight, which is good. Now, I've got the Nomad kit, which actually comes with this handy tub to store everything in. This actually doubles as a sink, and I'll show you guys how that works later. Another good thing with the Nomad kit, it comes with a river pump kit, which essentially comes with a 12-volt pump, which you can then pump water into the hot water service from any stream or a jerry can or anything like that. So inside the Nomad kit, we've got our user guide as standard. We've got all our required hosing for obviously for the river pump kit and for our sink. We've got our included gas regulator and of course the hot tap itself. Pump, various outlets, which I'll show you later, and this, which actually doubles as the stand for the unit.
Now, you can use the included stand, or you can actually hang it from anywhere inside of your camp. The unit takes 2 D-sized batteries to power the igniter and the screen.
Now, setting up the hot tap is super simple because it's only really dealing with 3 things: the LPG, the water coming in, and the hot water coming out. So, super straightforward. We'll plug the gas in. It's got a quick connect fitting, which makes it so much easier than having to grab out a spanner and try and tighten everything up by hand. So I've got a 4 kilo LPG gas bottle that I'm using, but you can use, up to your 8 kilo gas bottles, or you can even use, smaller 2 kilo ones, or they even come in smaller cans, which I think are near 500 grams. So really pick whatever size you feel like you need for your setup. Jaculla say that a 9 kilo gas bottle will get you about 15 hours of hot water use, which is pretty good. So with this 4 kilo one, I'm expected to get around, 6-7 hour mark. Now, depending on where you're getting your water from, you might be pumping out of a jerry can or pumping out from a stream, or you might even have, house water plugging in a garden hose. So for this example, we're gonna be pumping out from a creek. So I'm gonna show you how I set that up. So you can see I've got the hot tap here, and I've got a beautiful freshwater mountain river right here. So I'm gonna be pumping the water from that river into my hot tap and then turning it hot and coming out of my shower. So let's set it up. The first thing you might notice is that the hoses it comes with for the actual cold side aren't that long. It's only about 3 meters on each side, so it's not really long enough for me to get all the way to the stream, but that's okay. I've got myself some longer garden hose I'm gonna use to pump up from the creek. So I'll plug my garden hose in to the hot tap, into the blue, and then we'll run this down to the creek and I'll show you how we go about pumping. So for the pumping, it's actually super simple. So as I've got the Nomad kit, I have the river pump kit, which comes with a 12-volt pump. And so a little bit of info on the pump for those who care. It's actually a 60 PSI, 6 LPM self-priming pump. It's in a waterproof casing, so you can leave it out in the rain and it's not gonna kill it. It's well arrowed on which way to pump, plugs in via 12 volt, and it's got a nice little switch on here to turn it on and off. So it's a nice looking little pump. It also comes with the collector, and this actually has a filter inside, a 2-stage filter that is cleanable as well, so you can remove that out, clean it. It's also got a weight inside, so we'll keep it at the bottom of the riverbed. It also comes with a collar for it, which is good because if you're trying to get water from like a silty riverbed, this keeps it off the silt on the bottom and stops the silt getting in there and clogging the filter. So you put that on, throw it on the end of your hose, clips on like that. The great thing I love about the pump is that it's just got easy quick connect fittings that any garden hose can use. So simply plug your water end in and your garden hose that you brought down from your actual hot tap itself in. We can now grab our collector end and throw it in the water. And now you're probably wondering, how does the pump actually get powered? Now, it actually plugs in just via a 12-volt socket, so it's pretty straightforward. Plug that in, and then you plug your 12-volt socket into your cigarette lighter or battery box or whatever it is you got. Now, the one issue I found with this is that it's great if you're close to the water, but if you're a little bit further away, the cord's not exactly the longest, so it's kind of hard to make it reach all the way to your car. And while you could, in theory, put the pump closer to your vehicle, and it is a self-priming pump that can self-prime up to 1.8 meters of height, it is always better to have the pump as close to the water source as possible. So what I did is actually made a little connector from a 12-volt socket to an Anderson plug, and then from the Anderson plug, I've got a long Anderson plug cable that goes all the way to my vehicle, and that's how I power the pump besides the river. So now that our water in is all plumbed up, we can start on plumbing up the shower. Now this is very much, choose your own adventure. You can really set up the shower however you'd like. There's many ways to set it up. So first, grab your red hose, plug it into the bottom of the hot tap, grab your shower head, plug her into the hot tap, and there you go. You can shower just right there, hot water, all done. Now, obviously there's a heap of different ways you can set up the shower. For example, you got a little magnetic mount, which is really awesome because you can hang in the shower right off a vehicle and clean yourself like that. But I'll show you just one way how we have this set up. So what I will do is actually disconnect the shower head from the switch, from the controlling switch, plug in a small length of hose at the end of it, feed this through our awning, and then plug our shower head back into it. So now you can see we've sort of got a shower head coming off the side of our awning. And now we're set up. And now there's a few last things I do before I turn it on. Firstly is just check all the gas fittings, make sure there's no leaks. I then go down the river and I'll turn on my pump. You'll hear the pump start priming and pumping the water up to the unit. And once it's primed, you'll hear that switch off. Just like that. So now we know there's water all the way to the unit. All we need to do now, open up our gas and then turn it on. And it's already hot. So now there are a few controls for the actual unit itself. You'll see here, we've got our gas, we've got our water flow, and I've got our little screen with our diagnostics. So you can see here right now it's 38 degrees Celsius. Now, if you want to get this hotter, you'd obviously just turn this gas up higher and you turn the flow rate down. The lower the flow rate, the higher the gas, the hotter the waters are going to be. So because we've got the pump on down there, all we need to do is flick this switch, and once water starts coming out of here, the pump will know to start pumping and we can keep on showering. So we'll flick our switch, water will come out, burner ignites, wait a couple seconds for it to get warm. Yep, and then jump under. And now we're turning freezing cold snow melt essentially into a hot shower. This feels like cheating. So for those who are wondering what temperature this water can get to, basically its max temp is 50 degrees Celsius. So that's like the legal regulation limit that it can burn to. But what you can essentially do is make any water 40 degrees warmer. For example, if that river there is 5 degrees, it'll push it up to 45 degrees in theory.
And I can confirm we've been able to have a steamy hot shower off icy cold high country rivers.
Another thing I'll mention too, if you are planning on showering next to our river streams, make sure you're using soap that is, eco-friendly, river-friendly soap. Because if you get the stuff that's not eco-friendly, like it'll actually do harm to all the waterways. So use a soap that's all biodegradable and all friendly and safe for the environment. And then you'll keep all the stream happy for everyone who's downstream. Oh, it's so nice, you don't want to get out.
Now, my girlfriend has absolutely fallen in love with this setup. She will literally come out with prune hands after staying in there for so long. And even I'll admit, it's really nice getting refreshed while being able to stay in the bush, and the hot tap makes that super easy.
Oh, and there you go. As long as you have a river stream or a jerry can, you can have a hot shower wherever you are. So that is just one way that we use the hot tap when we're camping, but I'll show you the whole other way that we use the hot tap to wash our dishes and to be a water refill point. So let's get into that. All right, so how else do we use the hot tap when camping? So the next biggest thing, and the reason why we went with the Nomad kit, is that it comes with this sink. So just like that, you got yourselves a sink, and it actually comes with some extra hoses, so you can not only run the sink, but run the shower at the exact same time. So using these three-way adapters, we are able to hook them all up at once. And then with the flick of the switch, we've got ourselves a sink. Because what we used to have to go through to get, you know, a sink like this to work is we'd have to go into the stream with my billy, fill up the billy, which is only about 1 litre, put it on the fire, wait for that to boil, then do that again like 3 times until I had enough hot water to then make the sink. And then wash all my dishes in a little tub, and then that's how I did it. But with this, it's a flick of the switch and you got hot water and you're done. Like, it literally makes doing the dishes like so quick. So I could see this being really handy in either big families, communal cooking, because when all our mates when we all go to the Murray River or Eildon or wherever we end up going this Christmas, I'm just gonna bring this whole unit. Everyone's gonna be able to use a shower. Everyone's gonna be able to do the dishes in the sink, and it's gonna make the whole camp for everyone a hell of a lot easier. It just makes it very easy to do things. Having like a tap, a hot water on tap, literally, yeah, it just makes it easy. So I can see this setup being really great for those who have little ones because it's super straightforward. All they have to do is hit a switch and there's water coming out, just like your normal sink at home. They don't have to play around with a gas bottle or fiddle with levers. So it's all super safe and super simple and yeah, just easy. So another way we use the hot tap in our camping setup is to actually collect water. So we carry about 40 litres of water on the back of the 80 series. Now, throughout a trip, that'll slowly obviously lower and fall down. So we try and always keep 20 litres of drinking water on the car at every one point. But the other jerry can we usually turn into a wash jerry can, whereas when we are camping near streams, I try and collect at least 1 jerry can full of wash water. So when washing hands or doing just plates and stuff like that, I can use that water and save the good fresh drinking water for, you know, when we actually need a drink. So what we've been using the Jakula 12-volt pump here for is to actually refill that wash jerry can. So whenever we rock into a stream, we'll fill up the jerry can with the pump, and then when we're away camping in the spot, say where there's no river system, we can actually dump our pump into the jerry can and then have a shower using our wash jerry can. So the Julka hot tap actually has some pretty good safety features on it too. For example, a tilt sensor. So if it did get knocked over, it'd actually extinguish the burners automatically. It's also got an overheating sensor and a water flow sensor too in it. And it's really handy. It's got a diagnostic screen here under the temperature gauge, which will say basically, what the problem is and why it's not working. So for example, if the burner's not on, or if there's no water, or if it's overheating, it'll visually let you know. So that's really handy as well. So I think the hot tap is a really well engineered Aussie designed product. It's simple to use, it's efficient, and if you want a hot shower in the bush, I think it's the way to go. And yes, this is pretty much glamping by this point now. I mean, we've got the rooftop tent, the fridge, oven, 240-volt power, and now a hot water shower. But in fairness, it's been a real asset to our camping setup, and it's great for communal camping as well. And I think I said this in my rooftop tent video, but anything that can make camping more enjoyable and comfortable means we can stay out in the bush for longer and ultimately travel further. If you're looking for a hot water shower for your camping setup, I've got a link to the Julka hot tap in the video description. I hope this video helped you out, and we'll see ya in the next one.